Are we going to do a discussion first, or you just want to dive
This could be the
into
cold open right now.
Yeah.
Casey's not here. She quit the podcast, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We got too much for her. She had it.
She moved back to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
It was a whole thing.
We had a funeral for a bird.
Yep, a funeral for a bird.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she quit the podcast. She'll probably be back though.
I would say in probably 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
Yeah,
yeah. She'll
2
probably
weeks.
be back, but
She'll quit for this week and
it's
next
like a
week.
Brett Favre kind of thing.
She hasn't sent me
Michael
any dick
Jordan.
pics.
That is true.
It's a Michael Jordan thing. I'm back.
No, that was a gam. Her dad's still alive.
Mm-hmm. Very.
They're very alive, yeah.
I don't think
Her-
she has any gambling debts.
Any-
She doesn't
any
bet a lot of
gambling.
units, but I don't
Oh,
think
yeah,
she's
yeah.
got any gambling debts.
She doesn't have any gambling debts, especially with like bad people
Mm-hmm.
from golfing.
You okay, Jack?
Yeah, no. I just am thinking about the Last Dance documentary and how they just glanced over the most not talked about.
That wasn't
but
a documentary. That was a cheerleading
propaganda.
film. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at you two. This is just a hilarious visual. You two just sitting there just doing the podcast. Two adversaries.
As opposed to.
Yeah, teammates.
Adversaries.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we fight sometimes.
But we still respect each other's work and whatever.
You broke his jaw.
When did you?
Rough and rowdy.
Yeah.
Sorry. I guess I punched you so hard you blacked out, forgot the whole thing.
Yeah, that could have happened.
We should get a Grinnell, Frankie, Rough and Rowdy.
Yeah, I think that's maybe in the works.
Yeah. No, we definitely should get the two of the softest looking guys here and let them fight.
It'll be a slap boxing competition.
Mm-hmm.
Slapboxing would be actually probably more dangerous than the rough and rowdy. The rough and rowdy, they wear massive gloves and whatnot. Slapboxing, you can if you hit
I
somebody.
got nails.
If you hit somebody hard enough slapboxing, you can knock them out.
You okay?
Yeah,
Are you okay?
he's always okay.
Average. I'm ready to talk college football.
So are we?
How was Penn Station?
It was good. I thought you were going to ask me how Penn State was.
Oh,
It was good. Yes, my sister started as an intern here today. It was her first day, so I walked her down to Penn Station so she knew where to go.
how's she like New York?
She's been here one day, so I don't really know. I don't know.
She that's awesome though. I haven't met her, but I'm just gonna let it happen naturally. Or maybe in my mind, I thought to myself, Brandon probably doesn't want me to even talk to her.
I'd say that's accurate.
Yeah. So I just haven't talked to her.
Heard Kareem's talking to her a lot.
Mm-hmm. That's worst case scenario.
That is worst case scenario.
Worst case.
Yeah.
No, worst case scenario would be if like my sister started dating Marty Mush.
Yep.
That would be insane.
That would be really insane if somehow she was the one and that'd be great for the podcast. But
Yeah. All right, let's do the show. Hi, welcome to Unnecessary Roughness, presented by High Noon Hard Seltzer, which usually there's a couple sitting there, but I don't think Jack's really producing the podcast this week.
There's some over
Oh, I will be producing the podcast this week because it has to go up.
High Noon Hard Seltzer. It is wonderful. They got the peach, they got the mango, they got the passion fruit. It's right over here, Jack. I'll just get it.
So this is the one I couldn't open last week.
Yes, this is the one that was so beautifully open.
Look at this.
How are you supposed to open it though?
If you asked an animal with non-opposable thumbs to open it, they do a better job than that.
A bear would open it.
Okay, obviously it ripped, but how are you supposed to pick open the flaps? This is what I did.
This is what you do.
Is
Bam.
that not what I
Look,
I-
bam,
High Noon makes it so easy.
bam.
And then
Look how easy that is.
And you grab one. This is grapefruit.
the best
Some new
flavor?
Wait, wasn't the new flavor supposed to come out today?
It's the passion and mango. Passion fruit and mango.
No. Didn't they have that tweet? Remember?
There's a new flavor?
No, it's mango because mango came out early.
Oh, I see.
So that tweet with the question mark. Okay.
High Noon Hard Seltzer is delicious. It is fantastic. You should have it watching college football this season. My name is Brandon Walker. Welcome to Barstool's College Football Podcast. My normal partner is not here this week. She, in fact, quit the show. But she will probably be back in 2 weeks after she unquits the show. Right now, I got the kids. Just me, and I got sole custody this week. It's me and Katie Stats and Jack Mack. Hi.
I mean, Casey got Dana and Marty. That's the bigger kids. In the breakup.
Again, that's not great for anybody.
I think you won the breakup.
I did. Hi, Jack.
What's up? Yeah, no, I think you'd rather have us than Marty and Dana.
I'd rather have one of you. Yeah, sure.
No, who knows?
So 50-50, that ain't bad.
But yeah, we have a good shot.
That's 6-6. That gets you the Music City Bowl.
6-6.
Actually, that doesn't get the Music City. That gets you the. What does that get you? The Independence Bowl.
Duke's
Liberty?
Mayo Bowl.
The Duke's Mayo Bowl. Yes.
You know
formerly the
what
Belk
we
Bowl.
really should have done for this episode? Maybe next week. We should ask interns. You want to work on this podcast? You have to come and prove. Like you have to. We interview them.
Just a cursory knowledge of college football.
No, even if you don't have it, but you show you'll work.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's Jack unofficially thinking that he needs an intern on the show.
No, for you and Casey.
I already have an intern.
Yeah, it's like I am. It's like I need to work on not being like protective over this show and you guys.
She's
I'm like,
full time, but she's my intern.
One of the guys.
Should I change you? Oh, by the way, announcement for the show.
Oh no.
You're still Instagram intern in my phone.
Okay.
I put Jack's name in my phone.
Wow.
For the first time.
As what?
Now it's just not Jack Mac.
Okay.
So it's not just. It used to. I had Unnecessary Roughness Group. I had podcast co-host, Instagram intern,
Yeah.
and then just your
Unlisted.
number.
Okay, but
Now you're
in
not
the group you would know who's who because
right because you were the only number. Yeah. So,
860 is gone.
but now you're not a number anymore. You're Jack Mac.
You saw the rent yesterday?
And that's the fullest it's going to be this
How
year.
far are we into the podcast?
Like 10, 8
One.
minutes. It was loud.
Okay, fine.
Loudest it'll be all
Yeah,
year.
because they weren't watching
Probably.
UConn
It wasn't
football.
even
Yeah.
yeah.
Probably. No, you're right.
Just relax.
In the fullest.
Liberty's going there, I think, next year. We should go.
Oh man, footballs and whores for everybody.
Yes.
Please pitch that to Dave.
Um,
For
No,
college
this.
football. Oh, that
Sure.
did you? Oh, so I now have the dates.
Playing Ole Miss, too.
Yeah, I know.
Liberty Ole Miss game. I
UConn
want to go
is.
to that.
I now have the dates of
So.
the college football show this fall. The Barstool College Football Show with me, Dan, Dave, and Casey. So that means we can start planning our sub dates, where if we want to take 1 or 2 trips this fall.
Okay, yeah, no, yeah.
There's some
I
very-
heard you guys planning today.
Mm-hmm.
Seems pretty good.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
some good,
very good
some
games.
good games. Okay.
Yep. So
Just hearing those games gets me fired up.
just the meeting had me ready to run through a wall.
Like the game, like they're gonna happen.
Right. What this time last year, it was so much uncertainty, so much. Now it's a normal season. It's a normal off season. It's normal, and you look towards the fall, and you can think normal football things. You don't think, well, how many opt outs? How many will they get to play? How many fans? No, we're good, and I'm almost certain. I feel like we're gonna have 100% across the board.
Do you
attendance.
think we'll have Penn State announced today 107K full for them, which is big because that's a Northeast school.
Yeah.
And then I was about to ask, how many cancellations do you think will happen this year because of COVID? I'm ready to say close to 0.
I think close to 0. Yeah. I think we know so much more about it now, and,
Yeah.
and I feel like we're so far down the road that plus the vaccination rates on these teams got to be over half probably already. So if you've got over half vaccinated, you will have a roster.
That is true. Most of the cancellations were not because they just couldn't feel the team.
Because of close contacts.
Yes, and they would all be close contacts. Would be all the offensive linemen were together because they
In
practice
the meeting
together.
room, they live
Meeting room,
together.
yep.
Yeah. So we're going to talk college football news. We'll have a little bit of that. Some big recruiting news out of Georgia. Shocker. Kirby Smart got a couple good players that he'll probably fail to win a championship with. You've also got interesting news out of Kansas I want to talk about. Today's a big day in the college football calendar. We'll start with that in just a minute. We're going to do, you and I want to do this, the best and worst media members of college football.
Yeah, we should do that. Yep.
I don't hold it against me. I might rant.
I want you to get into that ranting mode and just take it over.
I have some underrated players. What's happening outside of our office right now?
Traffic.
I just looked at the what you have over there. If anybody wants a little inside scoop into Barstool Sports, every person in this office got an Athlon Sports magazine the other day.
Everyone.
It's not true.
I wasn't even asked.
Okay, well, here's how that happened. Katie, I said, Katie, would you go down to Barnes & Noble and check out the magazine? She said, yeah. I gave her my card. She went and got me one. She got her one. She got Rico one.
And
I didn't know you were
Rico
on the
asked
list.
me earlier.
I didn't know you were on the list.
Okay.
And also, can I just point out, you should already have one. And C, this is my backup copy. I lost my bag this week. I went to Stop and Shop in Jersey and got this brand new one yesterday. So I have 2 of them.
We got a Boston College player on the athlon.
Hey, it's
one.
Dayflowers.
Obviously, this is the ACC one.
It's the national one, isn't it?
No, because Notre Dame's on
it is the ACC. Yeah.
Ew, why is Notre Dame on it then?
Well, it's
Because
they're
they are
ACC
a part of
adjacent.
the ACC.
Well, they're ACC.
They should be in the
adjacent.
Midwest one. Let's be Midwest.
So we're gonna do the best and worst media members. I've got some underrated players for this year and some underrated all time over the last 20 years players to talk about. I have the 5 best college football days of the summer.
Yes, let's do that. That I'm interested about and excited about. I don't know where you're going to take it, but I think it's going to be good.
So you just had to make a point that you're interested in.
Yes.
That you think is going to be
5 days is a lot of days.
It's a lot of days, yeah. It's a lot of days. That's almost a full business week. It is an American standard business week, isn't it?
It is.
Well, for the sales team here, it's usually 3.
Oh. Cheese and crackers, my goodness. So, real talk, Casey is off doing Barstool content. She's off doing the stuff there. She's with Marty and Dana, and they're
It's
doing
the High Noon Tour.
if you're in Dallas, PCB, Nashville, Chicago, there's stops near
I
you.
think
and
Dallas is tonight, so
Yeah.
they're not going.
Well, you can see the video for Dallas then.
Yes.
But otherwise, there will be stops, and you can go
and
hang
they'll
out.
be promoting it on their stories and stuff. So
Yeah.
check like Casey's story.
Can I say something? I might be old school, but I love holding this in my hand. This is the Athlon College Football Preview. I'm sure in the coming weeks I'll add Lindy's, I'll add Sporting News perhaps. I'll probably add Phil Steele. All of them. Give me all of them. I just love holding this. I love just reading it, flipping, looking at rosters. I just love this so much.
I'm annotating the whole thing at this point.
Really?
Yeah.
Just diving into the stats.
Not even stats, just like who's who, like
I mean,
schemes,
look how sexy
new
this
coaches.
thing is.
Like I'll print something out and
That's
do it online.
they're in this is why I'm not the biggest magazine guy. Their MAC prediction has Buffalo winning the MAC. That's not going to happen after this past week.
No, it looks like they just lost.
They probably don't even know Kansas's head coach.
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't. This was printed way too early.
Yeah.
They don't know. There's a quarterback like Michigan. Michigan has 2 quarterbacks listed that are not going to be their quarterbacks because Alan Bowman's there. But again, in the year of the transfer, in the era of the transfer, these things.
No, it's 85% good.
These things are probably obsolete, but
they're good though.
I told Katie, me and her, because we're the backbone here, we should do a magazine, a college preview magazine like this.
Yeah, but then I shot that down immediately.
Why?
Because they're outdated the second you start writing them.
What if I hit you in the face with it?
No, we'll do it. This is good though.
Nothing can be outdated if I can hit you in the face with it.
See,
No.
I think if we
You're hitting me in the face with something that doesn't know Kansas's head coach.
I can tell it.
Anyways, I think we should do a pretty cool video preview series this year, and I think it would be podcast integrated. Then we do some exclusive just for the YouTube, help grow the YouTube channel. It was a great idea, but we're not in 1982 anymore. We're not boomers, so we're gonna do video.
there's some good general basic knowledge in there. Like if it's the
Writing a
off-season,
magazine takes a lot. It's like writing a book. You're a busy guy.
I believe in you, Brandon.
Thank you, Katie. I appreciate that. I believe in you too.
You'd get to Purdue and be like, "What the fuck?"
You
Yeah,
think I'd get
I'm
all
not
the way
even
to Purdue?
reading the half the group of 5 ones.
I think I get to Air Force. Go alphabetically in Air Force. I'm tapping out.
Yeah.
You something interesting on your phone?
I was double checking with our tech guy Andrew, in the back to make sure he was recording as well as we're recording in here.
I can't see anything on the TV.
Unfortunately, we had an HDMI issue,
Yep.
but it's better it's all YouTube. We're
But for the people,
for the people.
They'll be able to
we
see
will
it.
suffer, so
Yeah.
the YouTube is better.
Okay. All right. Very good. Let's do some news and then we'll get to some other stuff in a minute.
Start serious though. That's part of the ad read. All right, guys, we're gonna get serious for a second
Why would you tell me that?
because it's
When
serious.
have I not gotten serious? I'm Mr. Serious.
No, this is serious right now. We don't want to joke about this because the last year has been hard on a lot of people.
It has.
And That's why we're doing something new and partnering with our new sponsor, BetterHelp Online Therapy.
Yes.
Now, sometimes it's hard to come out and say, hey, I need some help.
I'm going through some things.
And everyone goes through it. We've seen the person who usually sits here, Casey Smith.
Goes through it all the time.
Well, she goes through it all the time, but it's also very, very public about not her struggles as much as like, hey, mental health is important. A lot of us take care of our bodies, but with as tough of a year this has been on many of us, we might also want to think more about taking care of our minds.
Got to take care of that mind, boys.
A lot of people battle with their temper.
What?
Or their stress is too much to manage.
Did you point at me?
Or they have depression, anxiety, PTSD. The list goes on. I mean, there's so many things out there. You feel something, you may be feeling bad. If this is you, you can use therapy to get some tools that make life easier.
And therapy doesn't just mean laying on a couch and talking to some guy like you see on TV. It can mean a lot of things, including this, which has got people online to help you at all hours of the night. It's just fantastic.
BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist.
So you ain't got to see nobody.
You don't have to see one person if you don't want to. You can turn that camera off. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy. And you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. That's big because sometimes, like stuff boils up and then you have kind of a bad week or a bad weekend or a bad day and you want to talk to somebody soon. BetterHelp can be there and you can talk to them almost right away, under 48 hours. Because sometimes, even in a city, it takes weeks, even months. Join the millions of people who are seeing what therapy is really about. It's always a good time to invest in yourself. We know that because you are your greatest asset.
Yes, you are. Maybe not you, but yes.
Yeah, but you are if you're listening. The podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. And our listeners are getting 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/Smith.
What?
Yes, this is for Casey. I mean, Casey's been making it very clear to her followers for a long time and people of the show that mental health is important. So that's BetterHelp.com/Smith.
Before we get to all the things, let's talk about some news. So today, Georgia Bulldogs, Kirby Smart, probably the best recruiting team in the country right now. It is crazy because Georgia sits at the top of recruiting, I believe, pretty much almost every year. Alabama was number one last year, but Georgia's always 1, 2, or 3. But I think it is agreed upon that the top 3 programs are easily right now Ohio State, Bama, Clemson. And Georgia, no matter how many 9-star recruits they get, can't seem to break into that. Now, I think they're going to be a huge national title contender this year, but they haven't broken through yet. Today they got Darian Kendrick, an uber talented, if troubled.
I would love to. What really happened with him?
There was
at Clemson,
and you should know. You know everything. Have you asked the housewives yet?
I have not. There's a new vlog I have to watch.
You haven't asked the ladies at Clemson?
She went to visit Trevor, or the main vlogger went to visit Trevor.
Did I see yesterday that some of the Real Housewives of Clemson are accusing all the Clemson players of not being faithful?
Yeah.
A shocker of the year.
That was fucked up. They were throwing 95 out of the 100 players on the Clemson roster under the bus.
Really?
I mean, are we? Come on, that's anywhere.
Are you telling me that the girls who are doing a web series called The Real Housewives of Clemson and they're publicizing the fact that they're dating these guys would throw people under the bus and just do things for content? Is that what you're telling me?
No.
And
no way.
Then there was people in the comments saying your man isn't faithful, which is always good. But the Clemson Darian Kendrick must have been someone who was not faithful because he wasn't faithful to Clemson.
Big time prospect, big time player. Left Clemson last year. Now he's going to Georgia, which I assume he'll be a game 1 starter. You know what that means.
He's getting paid a lot of money.
He got his dick sucked on his recruiting trip.
Whoa. Katie.
I was just going to say it means he's playing against his old team in week 1. Cheese and rice. Good Lord. Have you guys just been waiting for this opportunity? What's going on with you two?
Isaiah Wilson from my high school, when he went to Georgia, the first thing out of his mouth when he came back, I was like, well,
let's just say Mr. Isaiah Wilson didn't really work out.
Yeah, no.
He did at Georgia. He played well at Georgia.
Yeah, he became first-round pick.
It's another.
And then he's now trying to be a rapper. It's not working out.
I guess it didn't work out in the NFL. I guess the dick suckings went down.
Yeah, he sucked dick on the field instead.
Came full circle.
Okay, just relax. Darian Kendrick goes to Georgia, and so does Eric Gilbert, the huge recruit out of last year. This kind of puts me in a conundrum with Georgia. I have decided to pick them to win the national title this year because they finally have a quarterback. And
Did you just 5 minutes ago say they weren't?
Hmm?
You like 5 minutes ago, like they're not a national title.
Well, that's my running gag about him. But
Fair.
but I have picked him because he does have to prove he can do it. Kirby does. I picked him to win the national title this year, and I think I'm going to stick with that prediction. But this is why I don't really like Kirby and why he doesn't really fit what Saban has accomplished to me. Saban goes out, gets 5-star players, puts them into the system, and manufactures NFL players, and everything seems to go very smoothly. Kirby just keeps going back to the store and buying the most expensive item, no matter how it fits at his house. He's like he buys all the expensive ingredients from the grocery store and doesn't care about the recipe at all. He just throws them all in the pot and expects them to make a delicious dinner. Well, sometimes the ingredients don't work. Like Eric Gilbert is an example. Eric Gilbert was a 5-star, went to LSU. He's from Georgia, went to LSU last year. Then he transferred and he said he's going to Florida. And then he said, no, I'm not going to Florida. And now he's going to Georgia. We're less than a full calendar year into this guy's college career. He is now on his 3rd campus. This is insane. And he is otherworldly talented, but I feel like Kirby Smart just looks for otherworldly talent without regarding what else creates championship programs. Ohio State figures it out. Clemson figures it out. Alabama figures it out. Georgia hasn't figured that out yet. They're just going out and getting the fastest car without regard to the rest of the garage. And I don't think it eventually will win him a national title, I think, because of the sheer numbers of recruits. But I think that's where my disconnect with Kirby Smart and his recruiting/development are. It's like a couple years ago he had Jake Fromm, right? And then he goes out and he recruits Justin Fields with no plan for Justin Fields whatsoever. Yeah. None. He just said 5 stars, put him on the roster with no idea how that was going to work out. Didn't give him half the offense, and he lost him because of that. And then Georgia wandered in the quarterback wasteland for 2 years. Now they got JT Daniels, but they wandered in the QB wasteland because Kirby Smart fucked up the roster. You don't see Saban, you don't see Dabo, you don't see Ryan Day make these mistakes. Anyway, you take these guys if you can get them. So big time recruiting gets for Kirby Smart down there. Maybe it'll work out this time, maybe it won't. But Darian Kendrick, I think, is the headliner here because he's a guy that started for Clemson and he's going to start against Clemson in week 1.
And I would say the NFL is very high on him. I think everyone's very high on him. He may have character issues because of like why is he leaving Clemson? I'm not 100% sure about that. But if he turns out to be what he is on the field and doesn't disrupt the locker room, he would be really big because I think they have to replace some talent in the back of their secondary because Tyreek Stevenson, I think his name was, he was a great safety or cornerback who transferred to Miami from Georgia.
Sure.
So they need to replace some players. So I think he's bigger than Gilbert.
They also lost some talent in the defensive backfield, but I think they're loaded defensively. Gilbert brings up a point to me when it comes to transfers and recruiting. And are we now going to see the era of the double dip? Let's just say for shits and giggles, for argument's sake, a 5-star tight end out of Georgia didn't go to LSU because of the incredible crawfish on campus. Let's say he went down there because, some things in his recruitment helped him make that decision.
Okay.
Well, he goes down there, plays for 6 games, transfers out, and now whatever he might have gotten his first go-around, he's now on the market again, and he can transfer one time without penalty. He essentially, whatever he was able to get in recruiting, he just does it twice.
Do you think some of that stuff would be taken away if it was more on the physical side? Hypothetically?
That I don't know. But I mean, it's not like there's anything. I mean, these guys are getting things, we believe. And so what would, like, if LSU said, by the way, you're leaving us, you can't have any of this. Well, all he's got to do is say, yeah, LSU gave me a bunch of stuff. Now LSU's in trouble.
Wouldn't he be in trouble too, though?
He would be, but I feel like the
Not
team.
as big.
I feel like the player, the team always gets punished more than the player. It's almost always the player who did something wrong is long gone by the time the school gets the punishment. Long gone. But I'm just throwing that out there. Will there be double dippers in the future?
And then how does, when we're talking about tight ends, you mentioned this before the podcast, I forgot about this, but Darnell Washington's at Georgia too.
Fantastic. Young player, 5-star.
He's literally a Reed Gilbert. Like they came in the same class, I think.
Yeah.
They're the same guy. They're like 6'8", 280. They look like LeBron James on the football field. And so how does – I mean, I don't know. That's probably something that college football coaches at these massive programs have to deal with a lot is how do we keep everyone happy? Because we know that players get unhappy and they'll transfer but also keep the talent pool.
That's why I think the transfer portal is going to help both the top end and the bottom end of college football, because the recruits that go to the Alabamas and the Ohio States and the Georgias and the Clemsons, they're not going to wait 4 years to start anymore. Very, very soon, I think we're going to be seeing players leave after 1-2 years, and they're going to say, "You promised me that I would matter here. I'm not mattering. I'm not waiting 4 years. I'm going to go somewhere else." On the flip side, a guy that goes to Iowa State, plays 3 years, and is maybe all conference level, wants to stay 1 more year, what's stopping him from going to Alabama and competing for a national title? Nothing. So I think it's gonna help. It's gonna help both ways, and it's hard to see that, but I do feel like it'll ultimately be good. All right, a couple of more news items. Lance Leipold, the new Kansas coach. Speaking of transfers, it was announced today that he's getting six players: a linebacker, Rich Miller, offensive tackle, 2 defensive tackles, a center, and a receiver, all transferred to Kansas from Buffalo over the past 24 hours. They were all projected starters in 2021. So Lance Leipold is basically bringing Buffalo to Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something? Coach is bringing almost full lines of players, something to watch for going forward.
Well, so let's think about it. Who are the big – because Billy Napier is still at Louisiana. I guess he could have been someone that got picked up at, let's say, in Auburn. And there's probably, I mean, I don't know how many starters are there on Louisiana Lafayette that were returning this year, could have started on Auburn in 2021. Maybe 1 or 2, 3 or 4. But even if you bring in these guys and tell them, no, you're going to play for Auburn, better experience for sure than playing at Louisiana Lafayette, better facilities. And even if you're a backup there, that adds to depth without a doubt, especially if they're juniors or seniors. I mean, and they know how to play under this certain coach. So
I guess that's how it works. I guess with Kansas, it's an outlier because Kansas is one of the very, very few teams in college football and Power 5 football that adding all the Buffalo starters makes Kansas better. Like if Lance Leipold had gotten the job at, say, let's say he had gotten the job at Purdue, or let's say he got the job at Wisconsin.
Oklahoma State was the
Oklahoma
example
State.
You said earlier.
Let's say Mike Gundy leaves, Lance Leipold's hired at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State fans aren't going to stand for getting 6 starters from Buffalo. They're not. They're going to say, "Oh, we're just running it back. We're taking MAC players now. Is that what we're doing?" Whereas Kansas, it's a step up for them.
Yeah,
a massive step up.
When you're over, you can't really say no to anybody.
Did you see on the Barstool Sportsbook app what Kansas's over/under total is for this year?
3.
Was it 2.5?
It's 1.
Oh no.
It's 1.
What's their?
So they have
They
Coastal
have to have
Carolina
some
away,
non-conference.
first game of the year.
Yeah.
And
It's
then they
1.
may have an FCS, which is probably a good
They
FCS
have a couple.
team.
They have a couple winnable games, and let's not forget they had a couple Big 12 games that were decently
South
close last
Dakota
year.
is the first.
I think they lost by 3 to maybe Texas Tech last year. So they opened with South Dakota.
And they play away.
And
at
listen,
Coastal Carolina.
They play Duke. Duke is going to be terrible this year.
Oh, god awful.
They're going to be awful.
You can reserve premium tailgating right now for the Baylor game if you want, or the South Dakota game. Any Kansas fans out there are listening?
So they're saying they're toss-up between South Dakota and Duke for their possible win.
Right.
For the 1.
Yeah, there ain't much else. Unless we're able to beat Texas Tech on October 16th, go down. But they're not beating Iowa State. They're not beating Oklahoma. They're not beating Oklahoma State. They're
No,
not
they're
beating Kansas
Texas
State.
Tech.
They're not beating Texas. They're not beating TCU. They're probably not beating West Virginia. So it's not an easy schedule. I mean,
they came close to Texas Tech last year, but even still.
yeah. We'll see.
Wells is probably coaching for his job, so.
Man, oh man. So Lance Leipold gets a bunch of recruits. What other news you got up there?
Dan Mullen is now
a 3-year extension?
very highly paid.
So These are the top 5 paid guys in the SEC right now, Saban at $9 million. Ed Orgeron makes $8.6 million a year to coach a football team.
And little blonde girls, yeah.
Well, half of that's going to his wife or his ex-wife.
It's true. Dan Mullen at 7.6.
Should be Ed Orgeron 4.34.
So here's the thing. See this line right here? Mullen 7.6 and then Kirby 6.8. Give that about a week.
Yeah, Kirby's seeing that and say, hey.
Right. Kirby's going to snap his fingers. Kirby's going to jump over Dan Mullen again. $7.6 million for Dan Mullen. That is something. He is very good. But look, national title, played for a national title, has played for one conference championship in his career.
And whatever bowl they got last year. They got
killed in the Fiesta or the Orange or something by Oklahoma. Yeah.
Cotton, yeah.
That was a Cotton, yeah. So you got me in a little trouble last week.
Well, this is.
Let's give some context.
This is great stuff, though.
No, it was good stuff, but it just proves people will hear what they want to hear. They'll see what they want to see.
I think what we should do in the future is if we do those quote cards, we get the clip and reply with it on Twitter.
Can I just point something out?
Yeah.
You do the quote cards.
No, Katie does too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you're saying what you should do differently? Yeah,
but I was just saying I like to say we as a team.
So the quote card I'm referring to, Jack put out a quote last week from this podcast saying, when I said Sanford Stadium, it's the quietest stadium in the country, Georgia Stadium. I said that, but I also said it's the quietest 90,000 seat stadium in the country. Like it's not as I would assume that Kansas is quieter. I would assume that UConn's quieter.
Yeah.
I would assume all of those. But yeah, so I put that out, and Georgia fans lost their minds. And they kept saying, "Oh, I bet you weren't there in 2017."
Yeah.
I bet
guess which dogs are barking
I bet you weren't there when we beat Mississippi State. First of all, these people that listen to the show or whatever are just fucking idiots. Every time I say anything,
no, it's not the people that listen. It's the people on Twitter that don't listen. If you're listening, you're not an idiot.
Every answer that I ever get is, "Oh, yeah, I think Georgia's got a quiet 90,000 seat stadium." Well, you're a Mississippi State fan. What do you know? I have fucking ears. I've been to the games. Well, yeah, but you came to Mississippi State game. You guys yourself said that's the loudest atmosphere you've had from that Hail Mary. This is so slanderous, like no proof or foundation, just slandering for slandering's sake, says Steven.
No, you've been to the games there.
I've been to multiple games there. Yeah. I remember this not being quiet. That's the game I'm basing it on. Like it was very quiet. It's just not a loud stadium. It's fine. It's okay. You guys have an incredible town, but your stadium is not quiet.
Was it very quiet? It is quiet. They loved sending this one.
Yeah. They loved it. And just this idea that Mississippi State fan can't have an opinion about college football. So only Alabama fans get to have opinions that are worthy of being taken for college football? No, that's stupid. They're all named Dylan. They work in Kosciuszko at the auto parts store. What else?
Just a comically bad take. This is...
So Oklahoma's AD, Joe Castiglione, says, "We are bitterly disappointed that the great Oklahoma-Nebraska rivalry on the 50th anniversary of the game of the century." Can I just stop there?
They should have said, "Sorry, Nebraska sucks."
Can I just stop there? This. I don't know if we're going to do this all year, but this circle jerk over the game of the century back in 1971 when like 7 games were on TV. It's kind of bullshit. I'm sorry. Oklahoma played Nebraska one time when both were ranked very high. Yay. This game of the century happens 3 or 4 times a year now. I don't understand why we are bitterly disappointed that the great Oklahoma-Nebraska rivalry on the 50th anniversary of the game of the century will kick off at 11 a.m. I'm sorry. Oklahoma, you play a ton of 11 a.m. games. What am I missing here? They play a ton of 11 a.m. games.
They do, specifically against Kansas State. I think that's when they always
and
lose
Texas,
against Kansas.
They always play Texas at 11 a.m.
They always play at 11 a.m.
All right, well, Katie decided that one was done.
I sensed a lull. I don't want to. Never mind.
There was no lull. Is there a lull?
This is the lull right here.
The Big 12 Conference also supported our strenuous efforts to secure a more traditional time that would honor this game and our fans. However, in the end, our TV partner chose to exercise its full contractual rights and denied our request. So there you go. Oklahoma-Nebraska will happen at 11 a.m. And again, I would respect the Oklahoma AD more if he had come out and said, "Guys, we wanted to have it at night, but Nebraska stinks."
That would actually be pretty funny.
Yeah.
And it would add another thing to the game.
And listen, we want this on prime time. It's a big deal. It's an anniversary of back when Nebraska didn't stink, but now they stink, and we can't get a good time slot. Sorry.
Yeah, and he could have thrown a shot at Nebraska, like, oh, maybe if you stayed in the Big 12, this game would be played at night. But instead, you're in the Big 10, haven't been to a bowl game in, 4 years, and you kind of stink now. But remember that game in 1971?
What? You asking me if I remember it?
No, I was saying like I was a part of the statement.
I'm not that old. Are you accusing
No,
me of being
no.
old?
I was saying like, oh, remember that game? And not to you, but no, Joe Castiglione. By the way, that should be the AD of Fordham, not Oklahoma.
Rutgers.
Yeah, Rutgers. Yeah.
Hey, we try to get it. Forget about it.
Forget about it.
All right. So, and then right here, I put this out on Wrestling the other day, even though you used the video from somebody else.
From the company that you know the owner of?
I don't know the owner of. I'm
You're friends with.
practically best friends.
Best friends with.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tony Khan is my best.
Yeah.
friend. By the way, Tony Khan, he owns All Elite Wrestling. He also owns Fulham. He owns the
Fulham.
Jags.
Yeah,
okay.
Jags, yeah.
So he's invited us if y'all want to go.
He got relegated, by the way.
He didn't. The team did.
Yep, I don't know what unless it's wrestling, I'm going.
We're going?
Jags?
No.
Oh, we could go to the Jaguars and we can go visit Marissa and Trevor.
No, Tony got upset a couple weeks ago when we did our fake tailgating graphic, and we put Northwestern as the best tailgating in the state of Illinois, and he's a big Illinois Champaign guy, and he was like, "We got to bring you all out to Illinois tailgate to show you what's real." I told him this was just a fake graphic that we were trolling, and pretty much the only reason we did it so we could put Ole Miss
now
as the best tailgating.
But we're getting invited to a great man's tailgate now.
Well, he's an okay guy. I wouldn't call him a great man. The money doesn't make the man, Jack.
No, but I'm
sorry, Katie, what was that?
I was gonna say something, but no.
What?
You a money chaser, Katie?
Not at all, actually. I don't give two shits.
Didn't you tweet one day that dad bods greater than sign?
Yeah.
Really?
I've
That
dated
makes
a
sense.
body.
She loves offensive linemen.
Really?
I'd rather someone I've dated the bodybuilder.
You like a doughy physique?
I don't say I like it. Like I don't be like, ooh, let's go after that. But I'm like, it doesn't matter to me. I'd literally, if you have gym selfies on your profile, that's ugh. Cause I know you have an eating disorder. I know
Whoa.
Oh, every gym rat has some form of it.
That's like people have. Let's not talk down eating disorders.
No, I'm not.
They're legit.
No, but it's like the joke. I was like, when a guy is in the gym and has a six pack, he has more eating issues than I do. They literally look at themselves in the mirror 24/7. I've dated one. It's not more the eating. That's more the side joke. But there's.
If you feel like you have an eating disorder, please seek help. It gets better. I don't have one, but I just know people that have.
I don't think anybody was accusing you of having one, Jack.
No, I mean, we had Katie belittling eating disorders over here.
Well, we're joking with when a guy.
The women on this show belittle ailments all the time. It's not really anything new.
That is
Katie,
true.
Hey, I stopped belittling height.
Casey is anti people that have had COVID.
Yep.
She's Katie's anti short people.
No, I've retracted that.
Are you just losing your standards as you grow older? You just moving the
No,
line down a little bit?
Katie's gotten rid of her whole roster. She dumped she cut everybody.
I really.
You starting the franchise over?
I don't like that you follow me on TikTok.
You starting the franchise over?
Yeah, she is. She got rid of everybody.
Wow.
Not
A
by
total
choice.
rebuild, huh?
Not really by choice. Everyone just bad.
How's the rebuild going?
Shit.
That's okay. It takes a few years.
It takes a few years.
No, yeah.
Yeah, no,
We're cheering for you.
You gotta scout. You gotta go out. You got sign players.
I mean, I'm screwed if I don't find someone by the fall because I'm just work. I gotta take a time out.
I mean, everybody in this room works hard, Katie.
Yeah.
Not really
Well, it's
Jack
all of us,
as much.
all
but
of us for the fall then.
Well, yeah. Hopefully you find someone by the fall. You may
I
find.
need to block you on my TikTok.
It was funny. I just went on our TikTok and
why do either of you have TikTok?
Yeah, I mean,
It's our jobs.
massive. But I saw her TikTok about dropping her whole roster, and I was like, interesting.
Yeah.
How'd you make that decision as a front office?
It wasn't really my decision, honestly.
No, you should say
did the
just-
roster revolt? on you?
Yeah, kind of.
There was a player strike?
Not as one. Just I'm like I want a 0 for 4 streak.
Oh,
I mean, it happens. You're young.
yeah.
It'll be fine.
What are you, 29?
Oh, fuck off.
She's
Okay.
23, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same
she'll
thing.
She'll be good.
All right. Well, good luck. Hopefully, when are you holding open tryouts for the fall?
Constantly.
Okay.
Wow. DMs are open, folks.
They've
Yeah.
always been open, but
Please don't listen to the show anymore, Daddy Pondicio.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Mr. P, if you could just
there's been worse things I've said on this
you
podcast.
could go into another podcast, maybe listen to Call Her Daddy or something. That would be best. Maybe don't listen to this one.
Yeah, like Call Her Dad would be better. That's it.
All right. So you guys want to do some underrated players, or you want to do the best and the worst in media, college football media?
Let's go through some media.
How
It's
many-
that time of the year. We don't have a lot to talk about, and the media just fucks everything up. Let's.
I will say this. Here's how college football fans exist. Their only standard for liking or disliking a media member is how he has been perceived to treat their team. They don't really care about how they treat other teams. They just say, if this guy was mean about my team 7 years ago, I hate this guy. If this guy wrote a glowing article about my team 9 years ago, I'll die for him. That's really all we care about in college football. We don't care about your team, your player, your illness, your waving to kids. We care about our team. And if you're nice to our team, we will tolerate you. And if you're ever even a slightest scintilla of negative about our team, fuck you and I hope you die forever. Right?
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
That's college football fandom.
Yeah.
So therein lies the problem, because a lot of these like people in the SEC don't like Gary Danielson because he might have said something bad about their team once. Me, I don't like him because he sucks.
And they'll remember. Like 2010.
You want to do best or worst?
Let's start with best, just to get into, or no,
No.
worst.
Definitely start with worst.
Worst, because then best we can be like, hey, we're actually nice.
We're decent people, yes. Okay, so my worst, I have that's a writer, that's a writer, that's a TV guy, that's a TV guy. Looks like I have 5 writers, 2 TV guys. And because I didn't want Barstool to be B asterisk ST asterisk asterisk L, I have left some play-by-play announcers off because I didn't want to be
You
that
hate
guy.
that person so much. You don't even have to say it.
I'm not going to say it.
Oh, I'm not either.
But he or she is just a bad announcer.
Okay.
They use a fake voice. You don't sound like that.
It is kind of fake.
No, it's not kind of fake. It's fake.
Okay.
But I'm not going to be
We don't have to
B
bring he or
asterisk
her up.
stool. I'm not going to be that.
Or they. Who knows what their pronouns are?
We calling people by their pronouns now?
Well, yeah, if they want me to.
All right. So worst writers, I've got. I don't know if I'll rank them. I have a clear number one. Number one. I'll get to him later. I think we all know who that probably
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
TV guys. No, I do writer. Dennis Dodd
Okay.
for CBS is the biggest asshole blowhard in the history of college football media. He takes whatever the popular take is at all times, goes the other way just for the sake of doing it. He's Skip Bayless without the marginal talent. He is terrible. He has said some of the worst things about college football players. He is just a garbage ass hack of a writer. Shouldn't have a job, but he's one of CBS's national people because CBS doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. Are we off to a decent start?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you think about Dennis Dodd?
I don't run into him a lot, but he is somebody that I kind of ignore. Just he's irrelevant to me.
He aims for the controversial take.
I don't think I've ever even like searched him out.
He aims for the controversial take. He is just absolutely terrible. There are certain things, and I couldn't find them. He said things about certain players that have just been shocking in the past. I wish I had a better example. But Dennis Dodd is absolutely garbage. Terrible. Maybe a decent human being, but the character he chooses to play with his columnist role is a joke.
Yeah, he kind of seems like a dying breed a little bit, though.
Yeah, I would say so.
Like, I don't think there's going to be a Dennis Dodds in 10 years.
Because the guy who goes after players, coaches, fans in college football with a sarcastic pen has been replaced with the guy who goes after him with a sarcastic microphone. I am the Dennis Dodd of the future. I think we can all agree with that.
Oh, you know what he said? Dennis Dodd, I remember this now. he got mad at Bryce Love
Yes.
for going to class
Yes.
over media day.
Yes.
And Bryce Love was someone who I think Bryce Love's on path to become like a neurologist now. Bryce Love went to Stanford, and I remember this. It was I'm just on awful announcing right now, and Dennis Dodd blasted. I remember this like specifically.
Yeah,
it was
this
a
was
summer
one
day.
of the ones. He took Bryce Love to task because Bryce Love skipped media day. He said he wasn't being a leader because the guy stayed away from fucking 40-year-old sports writers to go to class. You dumb fuck. Yes, that was one of them, but he's got like dozens. This guy's an asshole. An asshole. And that one's not a thing. I don't know what that is. All right.
Yeah, that was.
That is
I
one-
think that was like a joke.
That was
article.
one of my worst guys. Do you have a bad guy?
My worst guys. I was gonna leave it to you because I think I don't have
Does
that.
everybody
much-
always do this? Well,
Are you the heart and soul of
I
this
am the heart and soul, but
podcast?
I gotta
Fine.
complain for a second.
Okay.
I gotta complain for
All
a
right,
second.
I'll complain before you complain.
Oh, no.
Why don't you let us know what you want us to do?
Yes.
Rather than 15 minutes before the podcast.
So we can prep.
So
make a
we can
list.
prep too. You then, and then if we come up to you like earlier in the day, then you're like, no, I got other things to do. And you do. Don't get me wrong. You do a lot of things in a day, but it's hard for us to, that's why we just kind of leave it to you because that's how you work.
Well, what about last week and Hate Week? And Hate Week has just become Brandon Walker roast everybody, and then everybody else.
That's
Is that how
literally
we
what
want
you
it to
want this
be?
podcast to be.
Casey could have done some hate. Y'all could have done some hate. I just
You're
had.
on a roll.
I had some hate.
I'm on the
I
hate
hated on
island.
West
I
Virginia.
was on the hate
I
island.
hated on Pitt.
I was on the hate island. Now I got to hate on these people by myself.
You wanted to talk about this.
No, we said on the show last week, Jack. We said it's
Yes.
going to be me and you. Me and you would come up with our hatred list. Didn't we say that on the show last week?
All right. I didn't want to take somebody from you.
We can double hate.
Okay.
Yep.
This time last year, everybody in media was in college football media. It was all media, but college football media, for some reason, I saw this with hockey media too, decided that they were going to be like epidemiologists and become like the people that were going to decide whether COVID's good, bad, what you're going to do, college football being played. And I mean, the guys who led it, Dan Wolken, whatnot, like
He became an infectious disease expert.
It almost feels like sometimes with Dennett or with him, Stuart Mandel, it's like they don't even like college football anymore. And the weird thing is, I think I can relate with it a little bit because when you come into this industry, you like something. And I could see how being somebody like a Dan Wolken or Stuart Mandel, it becomes a job to you. It doesn't become like that love of college football that you once had. And they've been around for 3 decades, 4 decades maybe. I don't think they're that old. But, like, and I could see how that happens. And then it just becomes like this thing where it's politics reigns over your love of college football. And then these fans come at you and they're like, oh, and then you look at them as, like, deranged because you don't even remember being a fan.
Was there a name in there?
I have so I have the COVID crew.
Dan Wolken, Stuart Mandel.
I have the COVID crew of guys who valued their own opinions over the experts that actually were able to drive a college football season. They were able to place their own delicate feelings about how they should be perceived looking at COVID above the interest of the athletes and the coaches that they pretend to cover. They were able to put their own self-importance and how they wanted to be perceived above actually doing real journalism, which they stopped doing. Dan Wolken was number one. Dan Wolken is somebody that absolutely, if you follow his Twitter, you cannot be convinced that man likes college football or the people that follow it. He is full of disdain, full of hatred, full of absolute sarcastic assholery to everybody that covers that likes college football. He feels like he's above it and you're beneath him. And that's the worst type of journalist. And frankly, that's the type of journalist that is most prevalent in this society today, whether they're in politics, whether they're in movies, whether they're at USA Today, whether they're in college football. Journalists believe they are better than you. Dan Wolken believed that. That's why this country is in fucked up shape because we don't trust anybody that thinks they're better than us. Okay.
That felt good, didn't it?
You know what? You guys are right to let me do it because I'm Brandon fucking Walker. All right,
there
I got
we go.
Dan Wolken as part of the COVID crew. He's the leader. Bruce Feldman was on the COVID crew.
He was?
Bruce Feldman.
I
was
don't
on-
mind Bruce Feldman. I want
Pat
that on the record.
Forty was
okay,
on the
that's
COVID.
who I wanted. He was next on my list. Pat Forty had this vendetta against UConn because UConn got rid of their swimming team, and his son was a swimmer once. UConn had 32 varsity sports when they cut 8 during COVID. 32 is more than most Power 5 programs, okay? And UConn is not a Power 5 program. And guess what? Yeah, COVID happened. People had to make decisions. Unfortunately, swimming that makes no money had to be cut.
That is 2 counts for UConn for those you counting at home.
When I was at SEC Country,
Uh-huh.
we had an intern there.
Okay.
Big, tall kid, 6'4", blonde hair, good-looking kid.
How old is he now, and where is he?
Mitchell 40. It was the swimmer. It was Pat 40's son. Yeah, he interned for us at SEC Country.
All right. So I don't know if his son's like him.
Oh, I don't know either. I only met him once, but Pat 40 fucking stinks. Pat 40 stinks. Pat 40 is one of the guys that believes he is on a pedestal above college football. No, college football is the only reason you're on that pedestal. And these guys need to say what you want about a guy like Paul Feinbaum. Paul Feinbaum knows where his bread is buttered. Paul Feinbaum knows how to play to the audience that he has cultivated. He knows who loves college football. He knows how to appeal to him, and he knows how to get down and cut to the quick with those guys. And he never lies to them. He never talks down to them. He gets in the mix with them, and that is very, very admirable. I don't watch the Paul Feinbaum show because I don't love the Alabama Hour, but that guy puts himself in the mix with his people, whereas these sports writers like a Pat 40 absolutely ascends above everybody else and looks down from their COVID throne, and that's just bullshit.
No, I think the worst quality of a journalist is they think they're better than.
They think they're not reporters, they're moral arbiters, and I don't know when we decided in this country.
That's a better way to say it.
When did we decide in this country that the reporters, the guys who are supposed to tell us the news and the truth, when did they get to become the moral arbiters? They told themselves they were that over the last 5 or 10 years. 'Cause it hasn't been like that very long. But it exists in sports media, political media, all of it. We journalists believe they are the guiding lights, and we're all yokels if we like college football. Fuck them. Fuck Pat 40. Fuck Dan Wolken. And Stuart Mandel also in that COVID crew.
Yep.
Bruce Feldman, I just wrote down because he wrote the book Meat Market, where he worshipped and sucked at the teat of Ole Miss recruiting.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy forever.
Hey, he worshipped. That was when Coach O was there, right?
Another worthless media member is Sandra Bullock, who made that stupid ass movie, The Blind Side.
Oh.
Yeah.
The worst sports movie in the history of sports movies. If you watch that, please unfollow me on Twitter. If you enjoyed it, please never speak to me
Who's
again.
another guy who may have covered something in Mississippi?
Oh, that Godfrey fella?
Yeah.
No, I'm not even mentioning him. This is a list of journalists.
Okay.
This isn't him.
Oh yeah.
Dude had a friend at Ole Miss that was doing recruiting, and he wrote an article, The Bagman.
The Bagman.
And then he came out with this tell-all video about Mississippi State. Mississippi State was never in trouble, fella. He's very talented, but he let Ole Miss poison his mind, much like Mississippi State's probably poisoned mine. And then my 2 TV guys. So my worst writers are Dennis Dodd, Dan Wolken, Stuart Mandel, Pat 40, and Bruce Feldman.
Okay.
Those are my 5 worst. My 2 TV guys, Gary Danielson, CBS. Simply because he's got the Dick Vitale disease, where no matter what game you watch, you're watching Villanova versus Georgetown. If Dick Vitale's on the call, he's going to be talking about Duke.
And something does not relate to the game at all.
And we're years and years and years removed from Duke being an actual big-time, huge program. They're no longer at the top of the sport.
For football or basketball?
Basketball.
I would disagree.
They're not at the top of the sport.
As a UNC fan.
They're not at the top of the sport. They're
top 10.
They're top 10, sure, but they don't.
I mean, they did have Zion 3 years ago.
Right, and they
Top
didn't make
10.
the Final Four with him.
As a
Mike
UNC
Krzyzewski's
fan,
done.
I'm saying
Mike
top
Krzyzewski's
10.
done. If you're going to talk about Mike Krzyzewski during another game, it should be to tell me that he's fucking done and he should retire. That's what you need to be telling me about Mike Krzyzewski. Just like Gary Danielson will be doing Auburn, Georgia, and he will have 31 references to Nick Saban in Alabama. He'll talk about Alabama. He talks about Alabama every single week, no matter who is playing, and that just gets old. I know that Nick Saban's the best coach in the country and the best coach ever. I know that Alabama's the best program in the country and going to win the national title every year. I know all these things. But if I'm watching Kentucky, South Carolina, tell me about South Carolina quarterback Gary. And what was it last year? Remember when was an Auburn camera person that got hurt?
It was the
Georgia. It was
that
Auburn,
was 2
Georgia?
years ago because there was a bunch of fans on
That's
the
right.
sideline.
Yeah. So
it was Georgia Auburn, and it was a student photographer.
she caught a knee to the camera. She
And
went
it
down,
looked-
and Gary just kept talking.
And it looked like she was very injured because they stretched her off. Honestly speaking, those guys, they run really fast. They're big, strong guys. And I think it seemed like she kind of got caught in the head. And at that point, you don't know if it's a spine injury or a neck injury. And that's something you don't want. And Gary Danielson was laughing. I'll pull it up on our account if you want to keep talking.
That's all right. I just remember Gary just talking while this girl's laying there hurting. He's just talking about the play, or he's talking. I remember what he was talking about, but he has no situational awareness. No situational awareness whatsoever does Gary Danielson. Another CBS guy, and I think he might be a good human being. He might be a good American. And we
have so many tweets about Gary Danielson. CBS pays $55 million a year for the rights to the SEC, and who do they give us to call the games? Gary Danielson.
Who said that, me or you?
This was just the copy on the tweet, and then there's a minute-long rant
of me ranting.
Of you ranting, but it has 180,000 views.
So here's the CBS guy. This is not a guy that ever gets put on the A team or the B team, but he is just so remarkably bad. If you remember fourth and 25, an iconic play.
Yeah.
Every time that comes up, you have to listen to Carter Blackburn's call, and it's the most embarrassing thing I have ever seen in my life. Carter Blackburn, who is a professional announcer, calls it, and he's had multiple slip-ups like this. I was watching a college football hype video the other day for 2021, and he was in there fucking something up. But he's like, they throw it to Hunter Henry, and he laterals it, and he goes, lateral, and it is knocked away, incomplete. No, wait, hold on. Collins has it, and just completely botched the entire thing. An iconic play with one of the worst calls you'll ever see. Carter Blackburn's terrible.
The girl that got ran over that Gary Danielson just didn't care about, she just joined the staff at Mississippi State.
Did she?
Yes. So Chamberlain Smith, shout out her. She was fine after that big hit. She may have had some injuries, but she's fine now. She works at excited to announce that I've accepted an athletic staff photographer job at Hale State.
When does she announce this?
In February. I can't wait to continue my journey as a bulldog from one SEC school to the next.
What's her name?
Chamberlain Smith.
Chamberlain Smith.
If anyone has Starkville recommendations, please send them my way.
It's probably late now.
But I mean,
I don't see Chamberlain Smith.
How do you spell?
What's her at?
Chamberlain Smith. So there's Smith without an H.
Well, you're not. How's she spelling Chamberlain?
Oh my god.
Cham.
Burr. Lane.
With Lane?
No, Lain.
Why wouldn't you tell me that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think that's how Jabba spelled his name.
Who?
Jabba Chamberlain.
Jabba the Hutt.
Chamberlain Smith. Yeah, look there. She was. You know what? I'm gonna throw her a follow. Right, Assistant Director of Photography at Hale State. Follow. I just followed her. So how do you feel about that?
Here's her black eye after she got hit.
That's a black eye.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Isaiah Wilson just added me on Snapchat.
Uh-oh. How'd that happen?
No, it's just small. We were talking about them. I was like, who the hell is Panda Wilson? Then I see the username. It's the same thing at high school. Sorry.
Oh, I see.
Former 5-star recruit and former NFL player.
Let's go see.
Only 23.
Has had multiple chances in the NFL.
Now SoundCloud rapper, right?
Now yep.
Mm-hmm.
It was like auto-tuned. It wasn't great. Best of luck to him.
He was at my friend's party this weekend. There's photos, his hair is everything.
I'm going to give you my best college football media members.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm going to give you, I already mentioned him, but I don't watch him or listen to him, but it is undeniable that Paul Feinbaum carved out one hell of a career for himself, one that I will be taking within 10 years. But Paul Feinbaum is somebody that, now, I do think he got a little lucky. He just happened to be in Birmingham. He was a bad writer when the internet exploded, and then he was able to put himself in position. But when the SEC Network came along, he was positioned as the face of it, and it's a tough face to put forward, but it is, in fact, the face of the SEC Network.
That's almost makes it even crazier. I mean, if you look
he's so ugly.
If you look at media members, like if you look at Chris Fowler,
Kirk Herbstreit,
those guys are like attractive even in their old age men. Paul Feinbaum
was like a car coming down the road, the doors open.
Like, unbelievable. So that goes to show how like cultivating he really was. He was and still is, but what did you?
I knocked my mic down. Is that okay?
Yeah,
It's fine.
I'm just going to go make sure. Keep talking. I'm just going to go make
It's
sure.
fine. It didn't do anything.
No, I'm just going to make sure that it didn't mess up.
What would it mess up?
The wiring?
You never know.
Imagine
He does more than press record. He checks Mike's levels too.
Did he tell you to say that?
No.
I can feel that it didn't mess up. I feel that I'm confident that everything's fine.
Well, I just had a mini.
He's coming back in front of the mic and say his thoughts.
I just had a mini heart attack because I only saw 3 audio levels. And then I was like, we have 4 people on the podcast, but Casey quit. So.
Jack,
Yep.
you know we have been sponsored at this show by some of the great companies in this world. I love
So
them.
many.
So many good ones, and I take all of them to heart, and I love all of them, and we'll die for all of them. But we have this drink called Revitalite, and I can go on and on about how good it is for you. I can tell you how it replaces all your electrolytes. I can tell you that you can go, you can get this at a liquor store. You don't have to go to the baby aisle at Walmart to get this. This is something made for adults. It's something that, hey, you have a rough night, maybe out on the town, you drink a half of Revitalite at night, drink a half in the morning. It just helps you get back on your feet. But, Jack, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Revitalite has everything going in the world for it. It's an incredible product, but frankly, it is just effing delicious. I love Revitalite. I will look at that bottle of strawberry. I don't worry that it helps me get back on my feet. I don't care about the electrolytes. Just give me that thing in my mouth. It tastes delicious. And, Katie, quit making that face.
No, I got to say, these drinks, oftentimes I hear Pedialyte. I think to myself, oh, how's that going to taste? We ran out of the grape Revitalite I think 2 weeks ago or so. And every day I come in hoping, praying the grape Revitalite is back, because the grape Revitalite, it tastes like, I mean, I've never had a grape drink that has tasted as good as the grape Revitalite. And it helps replenish some of the electrolytes I've lost over the maybe past night or so.
I don't hoard, but I have I've taken ownership of a case of Revitalite.
I've seen it at your
my
desk.
Yes.
I've seen it.
I have a case of strawberry
And
Revitalite
I would never
at my
touch
desk.
it.
And if you do touch it, we're fighting.
Yeah, we're fighting. Yeah.
And it just sits right by my desk. I just like to look at it. I like to pet it. I love my Revitalite. It is delicious.
And Revitalite just launched their new black label,
Oh.
which actually has our logo on it. Not Unnecessary Roughness, Barstool Sports.
Well,
which
maybe
is
one day.
Maybe one day, made specifically with stoolies in mind for maximum recovery and the perfect complement for when your life gets a little rough and rowdy.
Hey.
Because you know what? We don't want to pay for Saturday nights on Sunday mornings. Pick up your Revitalite black label today in store or online at Barstool Store, and tweet us or tag, this is important, at Drink Revitalite in your morning after stories. You never know. Maybe Revitalite will see that and be like, hey, that was a very great story. We want to send you a case.
Yeah, please.
And here's the pro tip. You mentioned it, but just want to say it again. Drink half at night and the other half in the morning for optimal results.
Optimal.
So Revitalite, you can get at the Barstool Sports Store or your local liquor store.
It's delicious. I know where the college football show is going this fall.
It's good spots.
Huh?
You're really going there?
Where? No.
Yeah.
Maybe. I've been there before. Knoxville's a fine town.
No, yeah.
Fine town. Good.
And
Great burger joint downtown called the Stock and Barrel, the Lock and Barrel, the Crate and Barrel. What is it? The Buck and Barrel? Book
Crate
and
and
Barrel? No, that's like
Cracker Barrel.
not the Cracker Barrel, Katie. the Barrel and Buck. But hold on, Knoxville Burger Joint. Knoxville Burger Joint. I misspelled Knoxville Burger and Joint. So we'll see what comes up. Stock and Barrel. Didn't I tell you Stock and Barrel?
No, you said Cracker Barrel.
I said Stock and Barrel. Delicious. Fantastic.
Cracker Barrel. For ads, but
You know what? I like Cracker Barrel. I don't care who knows.
no,
I've only been once.
I like Cracker Barrel too.
What do you get at Cracker Barrel?
I mean, I haven't been there since I was 13 or 12. I would love, but if we were on the road and was like, let's go get Cracker Barrel, I'd be like, oh, that's great.
Now, here's the thing. If we go on the road as Unnecessary Roughness this fall, are you going with us? Or are you going to stay home and do the Saturday thing?
Well, that's the thing. We'd have to talk about it.
I know that's what I just. My mouth was
Okay,
moving
so-
with a voice coming out. That's talking.
I think it's very beneficial to the podcast as a whole.
But you don't think you can take a whole Saturday off? To do
Well,
it?
it would be. I mean, those Saturdays are really important. Those are probably our biggest growth days of the year. Those 15 Saturdays.
Yeah,
Okay.
he has a
Alright.
fair point.
And I also think. I mean,
You know, I can hear him.
I'm agreeing with him. I'm not saying it's shout to the void.
no, I'm not saying. But then again, I mean, we'll. I'm going through in my head right now. That's not why, and this doesn't make for great podcasting. But we'll see. I mean, it would be. I haven't been down south to a football game.
I kind of want to go to the worst game one weekend, like the worst Power
The
5
UConn Duke
game.
one?
I kind of want to go.
No,
the-
UConn Yale. UConn Yale.
Kansas Duke.
Kansas Duke, yeah.
I wouldn't mind going to Kansas, or maybe not the worst, but just somewhere like.
Could we find a crappy Friday night game, maybe?
Yeah, that ain't bad.
Like, you know how ESPN Friday
That
night
ain't
games
bad. That ain't
sometimes
bad.
in like October are like 2 Power 5 teams, but they just stink.
Oh man. Let's. You know
Like
what?
Kansas played Boston College on a Friday night. I think 2 years ago. Les Miles won. This was one they thought Les Miles maybe was making something at.
Let me just pull up
Kansas.
the week 3 college football schedule. Let's see what's on Friday that week. So it looks like on Friday that week you got 2 options: UCF Louisville
That's not a bad game.
or Maryland Illinois.
Maryland,
That's-
Illinois
that
is a bad
sounds-
game.
Huh? How about that? We could go hang out with TK.
TK.
We go hang out with Tony. Go to Maryland Illinois on September 17th, and you get it on a plane. You'd be back by kickoff.
But I also think there would be some really cool things that could come out of when you guys go or when we go on the road too, even if it's only 2 or 3 games, there could be some funny like videos and stuff, and it could be kind of like a vlog, like Stool Scenes-esque, but it's just unnecessary roughness scenes.
I mean, these
Syracuse Liberty.
Friday games. Syracuse,
oh, this would be
Wake Forest.
Liberty at Syracuse.
Yeah,
It's not that hard to get to Syracuse. We could probably even take a train up there.
Oh, I'm addicted to this now. We got to find us a Friday night game to go to. We're going through the whole schedule. All right. So next week is Friday night, Houston, Tulsa, BYU, Utah State. That's going to be a no. It's too far away. Week 6. Did you skip? All right. So Temple, Cincinnati. You love Cincinnati.
Stanford, Arizona State.
I don't want to go to Cincinnati. That's just a gross place.
Stanford, Arizona State.
If we could go to Arizona, that'd be great.
My God. You know, college football just has a way to show you how big of a gambler or fan you are. And Stanford,
That
Arizona
would be a
State at
great game.
10:30 Eastern on a Friday shows you that you're a big-time fan.
Maybe we could go to this game.
Clemson, Syracuse?
Well, I
Syracuse just living on Friday night this year, huh? I do like the Pac-12 carving out Friday night for itself. Like Cal, Oregon, I'll watch that at 10:30 on a Friday night.
for sure.
We're going to find something here.
On a
Nothing there.
Wednesday.
Now we're getting to the point.
Coastal
right
at
here.
App State. That's actually a good game, though.
Coastal App State's on a Wednesday.
We could even go to.
Actually, this is a hell of a game, too. Memphis at UCF on a
That's a
Friday
hell of a
night
game.
with Gus Malzahn. I'm there.
Also, it's getting a little cold
Get
in
down
New York
to
City. We can
Orlando?
go down to Florida.
I bet UCF.
Why
fans-
don't we just become the Friday? Like we just become the Friday night crew.
The
Like,
Friday
we
night.
Just go,
All right. Man.
This is when we're getting to the part of the season when the Friday night games are like
They ease
G5.
up, yeah.
Ah,
Oh, there we go. Virginia Tech, Boston College. Virginia Tech, Boston College on a Friday night.
we'll be there November 5th.
Yeah, that doesn't sound miserable at all. Cincinnati's doing a lot of work on Friday night too. All right, so there you go. We'll pick a Friday night. I kind of like that Syracuse game early in the season.
Against Clemson?
No, the earlier one, the one that was really bad.
Liberty.
Liberty.
Yeah. I just follow Liberty around this year.
Liberty Ole Miss would be like the hate
Be like
bowl
a
for
hooker.
you.
Follow Hugh around, huh?
The Liberty Ole Miss game will be your hate bowl.
I kind of think Liberty can beat them too. I think Liberty, because Liberty's going to score so many points. That quarterback, by the way, this is a good segue to my underrated list in a minute, but he's on it. Malik Willis.
Yeah.
I've seen some mock drafts for next year
Yeah.
where he's drafted in the first round.
All right, let me run through my best media members real quick. Paul Feinbaum was one. Kirk Herbstreit. I mean, I just don't know how anybody that really doesn't like Kirk Herbstreit. Even when I get mad at him for last year when he said that ridiculous thing.
There was one fan base that was really mad at him one year.
I think Ohio State bubbles up at him every now and then because he doesn't like suck their dick like they think he should.
Yeah.
Uh,
I remember maybe I'm just misremembering
if one
it.
fan base hates you, you're doing
Yeah,
all
you're
right.
probably doing all right. Yeah.
Joel Klatt, I
Okay.
think, is very good.
He's good.
I like Joel Klatt. You don't like him? You didn't agree with me as
I'm
much.
irrelevant. Not irrelevant. Indifferent on him.
Cole Kubelik, who I mentioned last
He's
week, I
great.
think is very, very good at what he does.
We mentioned him. He quote tweeted us, and then I made it seem it made it seem like he thought we were attacking him.
Yeah.
So I sent him a message from Unnecessary Roughness and said, "Hey Cole, just wanted to let you know, sorry if this came across as us coming at you. We were just trying to get a discussion going." It's like, "Oh no, love you guys."
And then Bud Elliott, this guy at Florida State. He's not
great.
national. He's fantastic.
Yep.
There's a lot of regional guys like Billy Lucci. I know we do the A&M thing a lot.
Yep.
He's very good. Bud Elliott's great. And then Ross Dellinger, who covers
He's great.
for Sports Illustrated. Sports Illustrated, not what it once was.
Notifications on. He's so
But
good.
Ross is fantastic.
He's becoming like a newsbreaker now.
Yeah, Ross is great. You know where Ross went to college?
Mississippi State, but then he got
What was that?
I was just gonna go through his lineage because he started at
You don't
LSU.
really have to do all that.
I know that's why I stopped.
Yeah.
Some
stopping
other
was-
names. Bill
I've-
Connolly is great.
Andy Staples, Nicole Auerbach.
I'm
I
not
like
the
them.
biggest fan of Nicole
Okay, you
Auerbach.
don't have to.
I want to be Andy Staples when I grow up. Just
They're
covers
mine
food.
too.
Andy Staples is great. He follows the podcast. I think he follows everyone on the podcast. He's great. Shout out to him.
Peter Burns, we mentioned him last week. I
Peter
love
Burns is awesome. There's a guy I like, Thor Nystrom. He covers the NFL draft really well, which means he covers college football really well during the season. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that I'm missing.
I like Brad Nessler. Brad Nessler is a great voice for CBS.
Oh, of course, Dan Orlovsky. Great. Whenever he's announcing college football, he's great.
Where did he go to college?
University of Connecticut.
And he's in football?
I mean, he played in the NFL for a decade.
Is
Where
that
do
a
you
fact?
put Pete Thamel on your list?
Pete Thamel's right in the middle. I think Pete Thamel's pissed me off before, but Pete Thamel, I ultimately respect him.
I'm going through who I have tweet
When
notifications
Mississippi
on
State
for.
had their number one run, Pete Thamel was like banging the drum for us, so I'll never forget that. So I'm just as guilty of being an emotional bitch about my team as anybody.
Yeah, go to your tweet notifications.
Yeah, I can't find the rest. I think I have
Oh.
his. Yeah, no, it only shows so many.
Let me show you something.
Can I keep
Are
scrolling?
we just doing we're just doing this
No,
on the podcast?
don't do that.
No,
I'm trying to show her something.
Yeah,
I
you're
don't
showing
know.
her how to use Twitter on the
We're
podcast.
working on it. This isn't. We can figure this out later.
No.
What if you figure it out later, Jack?
I'm gonna show you.
I guess they're figuring this out now.
Jack, hello.
Settings.
Can't believe I missed Casey.
Notifications.
All right.
Casey, we miss you.
Push
You need this.
notifications.
You may-
Tweet 17 people. Here we go. I got it.
What?
You realize Kenny Pickett's back at Pitt this year?
Still there.
He's
I
been
think Kenny
around.
Pickett is the longest.
More than
gonna be
Skylar Thompson?
He's going to be the forever.
Skylar Thompson. That's a little thing I should have brought up during Hate Week. Hasn't been there for that long. Like,
Oh,
you
Brett
guys,
McMurphy.
He's
He's okay.
I like
okay.
him. He's good with breaking news. I have him.
Kenny Pickett has
I
been
have
at
Pat
Pitt
Forty's
forever.
post notice. Sorry. Pete Thamel, Dellinger.
Why do you have Scott Frost?
I think
tweet?
this was. I must have knew you were waiting for a reaction for something.
Okay,
Like once
yeah.
you're on it, I don't take
Trevor,
you
you have
off.
Trevor. That's awesome. Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? You probably had it during the when we didn't know if we were gonna play.
Yeah.
Am I on the tweet notifications?
Yes, you are, because all your bets.
Okay, Trevor.
Joe Clark.
Jamie Newman. Talk about a guy. Did he even get drafted?
No. That guy went out like a
People
Fart
were
in the
when
wind.
he committed to Georgia. People were like, sneaky Heisman candidate.
I don't
and
even
then
think it was sneaky. I thought, well, Georgia's just an automatic national title contender now. They got Jamie Newman, and he never played a snap for him. And again, I think that's one of the. I might have said it last year. That was one of the evidences that Kirby just takes the best ingredient he can get without worrying about the recipe. He took JT Daniels and Jamie Newman both. Like, that's just such an asshole thing to do. Like, figure out what you want to do at quarterback and attack it. Don't just get the best players you can and say, all right, well, I guess we'll do this now. That's not what Saban does. That's not what Dabo does. It's just ridiculous.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Too many cooks in the kitchen. Too many spoons in the gumbo.
Someone just retweeted a picture of an 8th grader incoming from random high school that is 6'8" and 330 pounds as a 9th grader.
I think, we had one of these last week that was 6'5",
Yeah.
250 or something.
Oh
I think
my
we're getting
God.
one of these a week now.
It's that time of the year because like football's starting.
Mm-hmm.
That's good though. Good for him.
I have a list
Good
of.
jeans.
I thought he was wearing shorts.
Yep.
Ha ha ha.
I got some underrated players this year as we
Let's
enter.
do it.
As I'm going to do a little bit these smaller previews, just to kind of dropping them in here and there. Most underrated players, games to watch, stuff like that as we go forward. What do we got? 12 Saturdays until college football?
I thought it was 13.
Could be
13 times 7.
We have 13 more episodes until the first
I think
one.
it's around 13.
Well, this one
I think
and
she's
12.
right.
Well, yeah, but in August we're going to do 2 episodes a week.
True. 12 weeks. 12 more weeks.
Okay, so what I said originally.
Yeah. Okay, you're right.
You
Come back.
interrupted and
Keep talking.
Underrated players this year. I'm just going to throw some at you, and I'm going to throw some underrated players over the last 20 years, just to stoke a little discussion.
Cool.
No, yeah, I'm ready for this.
Okay, cool, because you were just looking at me.
No, I mean, I'm ready for the underrated players.
Underrated players this year. You will hear about Breece Hall. Almost said Bryce Hall. You will hear about Breece Hall. You will hear about anybody that is lining up for Alabama. You'll hear about Georgia's running backs. You're going to hear about all these running backs this year and how great they are. But I believe that maybe the best running back in the country nobody's going to talk about. His name is Muhammad Ibrahim, Minnesota. This guy ran for 1,100 yards last year in, I think, 6 games. He was incredible. He was right there with Breece Hall. He's just as good as all these guys. Like, I'm looking at Athlon right now. You've got their first team All-American running backs. They got Breece Hall and then Bijan Robinson, Texas. What the fuck has Bijan Robinson done?
No. He's going to be unbelievable.
He's going to be good, right? But what has he done so far? He had a great bowl game, right? What has he done to be ahead of Muhammad Ibrahim? You tell me what Bijan Robinson has done to earn first-team All-American from this.
It's a projection.
Yeah, it's a projection, but it's based on what's happened already. You can't just project somebody and without regards. He ran for 700 yards last year and 4 touchdowns, Bijan Robinson.
There's some great running back names this year.
He's number 2 behind Garrett Patterson.
Yeah, look at his numbers. This guy ran for 1,100 yards, 15 touchdowns in 7 games.
Demontre Tuggle.
You okay?
Sincere. That's a...
Sincere McCormick, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's back.
Yep. And Breece Hall, of course, is there. He ran for 1,600 yards in 12 games.
Listen to Wyoming's running back's name. Zavayan. It's Xazavian. Validay. How do you say that?
I'm almost certain that's Xavier.
There's another Devonta Smith this year, too.
Is there?
Yeah. I forget who it was. I was reading the Athlon.
I missed a guy. One of Nebraska's key departures.
Master Teague's back.
DiCaprio Boodle.
We need one of the things we need to do is an all names list for this year.
Yeah, we'll do that. But I really believe Muhammad Ibrahim is very, very underrated, as is David Bell. David Bell just doesn't show up in these preseason All-Americans. David Bell, the guy who had like 115 catches as a freshman, had 60 catches last year. David Bell.
He wasn't on the first team?
Who, David Bell?
Yeah.
No, he's not on any of them. He's on. Let's see. First team for Athlon is Chris Olave and Justin Ross.
Okay.
Justin Ross, who didn't play last year.
And may not play.
Garrett Wilson and Keyshawn Boutte. Keyshawn Boutte had a great end of the season because he played Ole Miss late. Then you've got Marvin Mims at Oklahoma and John Mechie. John Mechie might be great. He's done nothing to prove he can be the number 1 at Alabama. He's just proven he can be number 4. That's all he's done. And you got guys like David Bell.
David Bell isn't on any. See, this is.
Do you think I'm an idiot?
Well, I'm more shocked than anything.
David Bell, Purdue, very, very underrated. Muhammad Ibrahim, very underrated. Kevin Harris, South Carolina. Kevin Harris is the best running back with the plainest name that you have not heard about. Everybody will talk about Tank Bigsby this year. Everybody will talk about Breece Hall. Everybody's going to talk about these guys. But Kevin Harris at South Carolina is fantastic. He played for a team that sucked. He has a name that doesn't stick out. Kevin Harris, get to know his name because he is underrated as fuck.
Did Treylon Burks transfer to Oklahoma?
No, that was the other guy.
But Treylon Burks is going to be pretty good.
Treylon Burks, wide receiver from Arkansas. Yes. Yep. Yeah, he is. He is in fact very good. I'm just trying to see where they've got. So, Athlon does have Kevin Harris as first team All SEC. I don't feel like fans really know about him as much.
You know who's coming back from an injury who was disgusting and the first month of the season, and it was when only the AAC teams were really playing because they were down south. Reggie Robertson Jr. from SMU.
Yeah.
Remember him? He was like he was a nice little quick guy. I think he got injured. He's a guy who's definitely under the radar. I'm going through some names.
I got a couple
now.
more players to put on your under the radar names
Yo
list
Hines Tyler, Ball State.
going into the season. And this is a guy that gets some credit, Malik Willis. But when you talk about Sam Howell, when you talk about De'Aaron King, when you talk about Spencer Rattler, Malik Willis better be in that conversation because I think he threw for like 2,500 yards last year, 20-something touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and rushed for 1,000. He's going to put up video game numbers at Liberty, and they're going to play They'll play Syracuse. They play Ole Miss. I think they play several others.
He may put up a disgusting number on UConn too. They're
Liberty,
playing UConn.
Liberty is they're going to play a bunch of Power 5 teams.
Who are you going to put on? Grayson McCall?
No, I'm saying 3 for UConn.
What?
UConn references.
Oh, sorry.
I'm keeping track.
Oh, I
now.
thought you were saying like.
That's no chance. It's just
You know who's going to be a great action quarterback this year? Dustin Crum.
Yes.
Kent State.
Yes.
He's very good. He had. Remember that game that I think Kent State. I forgot who they played. There was only 6 MAC games this year, only 4 Action Tuesdays. I think Dustin Crum's team put up like 76 on some random night.
And the last guy underrated, which I almost put this guy on here because he got injured last year. He only played like 4. He didn't play many snaps at all. But I can't believe he's still there. You realize Max Borghi still at Washington State?
Yeah, but I brought him up.
Running backs?
I brought him up 2 episodes ago.
Max Borghi rushed for 1,400 yards 2 years ago. Didn't play last year, and he's still Washington State's running back.
Max Borghi, I feel like has existed in 3 different lives of mine.
Max Borghi is somebody that he had 10 carries for 95 yards last year. But Max Borghi is somebody that would have been on these lists last year as like an All-American, and he didn't play, and I think people have forgotten about him. You okay?
No.
Need a little nap?
No, he's there. Who do you think's going to start at quarterback for LSU?
I think it'll be the kid from Mississippi, Miles Brennan. You think it'll be Brad Johnson's kid?
No, I think Miles Brennan, we got on him a little bit too much at the beginning of the season, then he got injured, but he was kind of turning around a little bit. I mean, he put up 45 against Missouri.
LSU fans will not admit it, but they wanted to blame the quarterback. They lost to Mississippi State 44-34. They scored 45 against Missouri. Like, they were scoring points. LSU's defense was historically garbage last year.
Remember when Derek Stingley was like second coming of Jesus Christ?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was just a weird season for him, but he
missed a couple games again, and then he just was kind of average. But I'm sure he's still going to be high in the
going to
draft.
start for you guys, Rogers.
But he'll start at first, yeah.
Okay.
I think he'll probably get beat eventually. But yeah. So God, these magazines, man. I love them so much. Underrated over the last 20 years. I'm going to throw some names at you, and I want you to tell me if you think they were underrated. No, they're underrated. You react however you want. Jordan Matthews, Vanderbilt. You know, Jordan Matthews, one of the all-time receivers I think all-time receptions leader in the top 2 are Vanderbilt guys. Earl Bennett and Jordan Matthews.
I mean, that's just crazy.
He was incredible at Vanderbilt. Nobody ever talked about him because he played at Vanderbilt. I think Mike Evans underrated at A&M because it was Johnny, but Mike Evans was the best player on that team.
Yeah, Johnny was throwing up some balls during his time that only would have been caught by Mike Evans and maybe Julio Jones or Calvin Johnson. Two
players at the same time in Texas colleges that almost won national titles. We don't talk about anymore, but looking back, it's crazy how underrated Bryce Petty at Baylor and Trevon Boykin at TCU were. They were 5-6 in the playoff, and TCU has a gripe to this day. I know Ohio State won the national title. TCU has a gripe to this day. It should have been in. They beat Ole Miss 42-3 in the bowl game. Trevon Boykin and Bryce Petty, just in the middle of that decade, dominant quarterbacks, and we don't talk about them at all anymore.
Bryce Petty ended up going to the Jets and was not very good, so it kind of messes with my memory a little bit. But those Baylor TCU probably – what was that year? 2014, 15, yeah. When they didn't get in?
Yeah.
It was a shame. Neither of them got in.
And then how about Andre Williams for an underrated name at Boston College? This guy ran for 2,200 yards one year.
And then right after him came Austin Dillon, which kind of like made us forget about Andre. But he was someone that whenever he got the ball, it just looked like he was going to get not touchdown, but 15 yards.
Kevin Cobb, University of Houston.
Okay.
Case Keenum come along and set a whole bunch of records at Houston after
Yeah.
Kevin Cobb, but Kevin Cobb put up ungodly numbers at Houston.
He did.
Back in like 2001, 2002, 2003. He was incredible.
And then he came in great roles backup for the Eagles here and there.
Taj Boyd, Clemson.
Another Jets quarterback.
Because Deshaun Watson happened, because Trevor Lawrence happened, we forget that the guy that started this whole quarterback run at Clemson and got him close to the national title level was Taj Boyd.
And
He got him close.
And he had DeAndre Hopkins, Sammy Watkins,
He
and
did.
I think
Martavis Bryant.
Martavis, yeah.
So he had all those players, but they had a great offense. I mean, he put up numbers. Taj Boyd was fantastic.
Yep.
But you talk about best Clemson quarterbacks, you don't mention him.
Ever.
And then my last guy, and I think this is the most underrated player of the last 20 years.
Who?
And you as a non-Power 5 guy, you're gonna like this.
Okay.
Rakeem Cato
Okay.
at Marshall. You realize he threw for 131 touchdowns, which when he left was 4th all time.
He was there.
Do you realize he had the 10th most yards all time when he left college? Rakeem Cato put up monster numbers, and nobody. If I say Rakeem Cato to standard super passionate college football fans, not many people are going to say, "Oh yeah, the guy from Marshall."
Oh, another guy underrated. Toby Gerhart.
Very underrated. Stanford. You realize Stanford has the most ever second place finishes in the Heisman, and 5 of them have happened in the last 15 years.
Andrew Luck.
Twice.
Gerhart. Did
Bryce Love.
Yeah.
And Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
They have been second in the Heisman so much. And you think white Stanford running backs, you think Christian McCaffrey. You don't think Toby Gerhart.
I'm just looking at some. Taj Boyd's up there. Is Dexter McCluster doesn't get brought up? I know.
That's fine. We're not going to bring him up.
Yeah, we
here
don't have to
either.
bring him up. Oh, who was the backup running back on USC behind
Lindale White?
Lendell White? Yeah.
Yeah, Lindale White was a better running back than Reggie Bush.
Rakeem
Reggie Bush was a better
Cato.
highlight machine, but Lindale White had more rushing yards their sophomore seasons than Reggie Bush. Anyway, the 5 best, and then we'll get to the tweet. The 5 best college football days of the summer. Are you ready?
Yes.
Number 5. This might just be a day. I've always said this, but I don't think anybody else does it. It's called YouTube Day. The day I don't really have anything to do, I'm not busy, I'll just sit on the couch or I'll sit in my office at work and I will just fire up YouTube hype videos. I'll fire up Dak Prescott highlights. I'll fire up Vince Young highlights. YouTube Day, where I get myself ready for the season just watching every single college football highlight tape on YouTube. Am I the only one that does that?
Yeah.
No.
No, those. It's not. You can't be, because those hype videos have millions and millions.
Well, in the moment when they're initially posted.
No. The greatest things is you'll sometimes look up a game from 2011,
Yeah.
and it'll have 350. Oh no, not even 350,000. It'll be more like full broadcast, 3 hours long, 75,000 views. That just shows, I guess, the power of college football and football in general.
Number 4, that weather day. The day in August where it's usually 90 degrees. The day in August where you walk outside, the humidity is very low, the sun is very bright, there's a cool breeze, and it feels like a fall, autumn day. That weather day, the first one you get in August heading towards September, you guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, that usually happens here around like September-ish.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, wait a second, should I go grab a sweater? But
Correct.
no, because it's going to be 80, 85 by the time
I
it's
think
lunch.
more Southern people would
Yes.
relate to this because it's always so hot. But then you have that one morning where it's like, oh, wait a minute.
Exactly.
Football's coming.
You smell it. Like you smell it.
Number 3, the day your team releases their first hype video for the coming season.
The only thing is, they do that so much more now because that's like the name of the game on
I'm sorry.
social.
I didn't realize this was going to be. Brandon says a bunch of days and you guys take turns shitting on them.
No. I know what you're saying.
You're on the toilet right now. Katie just got off. You guys are at least sharing toilet paper, huh?
It's just, they do it. Arizona State just had a
I
hype
am the
video.
heart and the soul of this podcast.
How dare you disrespect him?
What are you doing? You were disrespecting me. You can't switch sides of the argument mid-argument.
That's the fun part.
That is the fun part. Yeah, let her have her
You
fun.
had one good one. You had one. One.
Number 2,
Whoa. Oh.
magazine day.
I thought you were going to hit us with it.
No, magazine
Just
day.
Jack.
Yeah,
Me-
well, yeah, if he hit you, that would be like
Me and Katie celebrated
we'd be the
Magazine
only
Day.
Heart and souls left.
Who shoved? Someone else shoved someone in the office. I was like,
Why'd you have to bring that up?
I love Magazine Day. I love reading about college
you're
football.
welcome.
And number one,
Especially on the beach, maybe. Maybe you go to a beach or something,
I
and
need
you
to be on a surface.
or a pool,
How are you gonna
or
highlight
a
it?
pool.
Oh God, I just outed myself.
the best. How'd you out yourself?
I think the fact they like annotate the magazines. And
You've
don't
already
just
said
read
that
them.
3 times on this podcast.
Yeah.
My number one college football day of the summer. This is going to be just for fans who have season tickets or understand this. The day the season tickets arrive in the mail. The day you get that sheet of tickets and it's got game 1, game 2. It's got all the logos and the smell.
And it ready to be ripped, but you don't rip them yet.
No, fuck no. You don't
know.
rip
I'm just
them.
saying.
You
Like,
put
you know
them.
the little things, like the little.
If you have a safe, you put them in the safe. You put
Yeah.
them on top of the fridge. You put them under a mattress. You put them somewhere they're not going to get.
I
messed
even
with.
had those, and it would always be like, who's going to be on the cover of the photo? Who's going to be on the photos this time?
Ticket day. That's number
Ticket
one.
day, yeah.
All right, let's transition to that tweet. I'm going to have to look at it up there. All right, so Roughnecks. Hi, we're looking for your favorite road game destination. Tell us the best road game atmosphere you've ever been a part of. This is the part where you tweeted us, and I read it. So I get tired of asking questions, and guys just think of ways to answer with their team. Oh, what's the best 31-yard line in college football? Oh, well, it's got to be Indiana because we got the best 31-yard line. No, it's LSU. It's what says somebody with EAUX at the end of their name. Whatever. All right, so here we go. The best road game atmosphere. Andy Pace says Notre Dame because I've gotten to stay at the presidential residence, wined and dined, and was in a box. Does he mean like a stadium box or a vagina?
Stadium box.
Oh, okay, all right. Because
But if you were in a box at a college campus,
pretty good
time.
Pretty good day, yeah. Michael Malconian says Husky Stadium, University of Washington, fantastic tailgating, loud stadium, and the fans were absolute assholes to us. It was remarkable. And he included, is that just a picture he took? I like that.
That's good.
Yeah. It's very dark in that area. Let's see. Bob Pearson says Virginia Tech. It's a rowdy crowd and a beautiful setting. Virginia Tech would be an interesting place to go.
Yep.
Cleveland Bebb says Madison. Drove there from Columbus for 2010, 2012. Everyone there had the same attitude. On Wisconsin, fuck OSU, but thank you for coming to Madison. Gilreath returned the opening kick for TD in 2010. The stadium went nuts. Oh, and jump around rules. I would agree with that. Madison's pretty cool. Central Michigan says Dan Connolly. Every time out there was something to watch. A wing eating contest. Students throwing footballs in the back of a pickup truck. What? That's what he wants in his. That's what that guy wants in his stadium.
Like,
Adam Tucker says Tiger Stadium. That would be my answer as well. That's the best atmosphere I've ever
we
been.
gotta go back to Dan Connolly. Students throwing footballs into the back of pickup trucks for free books.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
What? Like, what?
It's just these weird stadium games. You enjoy
Wait a
that?
second. I mean, I get it. Books are expensive.
I don't
but
think Dan Connolly's been many stadiums.
I mean, Central Michigan. So it's probably Pac-12.
they
Mac.
have books for at Central Michigan.
Is this Syracuse? That's even.
Adam
You
Tucker
see?
says Tiger
Syracuse. What I tell you about Syracuse, it's all of them.
A&M at LSU in 2015. So painful watching Geis and Fournette save Les Miles' job at the Noise Stadium. Tailgating band and mean Tiger fans were electric. Easy, one of the most hype crowds I've ever seen. Agreed with all of that. LSU just is different when you go there. Jansen Crizzle says, hate to say it, but went to A&M as a Nebraska fan in 2009. It was the only thing that compares to Lincoln. Even Texas wasn't close. Sounds good. Nick Presley says, weirdly enough, Texas Tech, back when they used to throw tortillas on the field. Did they still do that?
I don't think they do it as much, but they did used to do that. That was like a weird. I don't even know how it started, but it was some weird tradition that they did.
El Guapo says, honestly, it would be Texas A&M. Tailgate overnight, get drunk with the Aggies. The core is one of the cool traditions when they come marching down the street into the stadium. Afterwards, when the Horns win, you buy shots and drinks for each other and get drunk on Northgate. Okay. But you're not going to win now because you two fan bases and two schools are too pussy to play each other. Mm-hmm. Again, stop Texas A&M, Texas. Shut the fuck up until you play each other. Will Herndon, not a true road game, but New Year's in New Orleans is it. Spend New Year's Eve on Bourbon Street with a zillion other college football fans, eat incredible food, live music everywhere in casinos. Get everything you need, all while wondering what that awful smell is. Accurate.
My sister's in New Orleans right now.
Nope. I'm woke to this. This is a Georgia
You're
fan.
telling me she's not in New Orleans?
No, I'm not worried about that. Matt Bevan is a Georgia fan acting like a nope, it's fake. He's a Georgia guy acting like a South Carolina guy.
His Twitter bio says Gamecock football.
I don't care what his Twitter bio says.
South Carolina played in 2019. It got over.
He says definitely Sanford Stadium. South Carolina played in 2019. It got over 100 decibels towards the end of the game. You guys won that game. It was like an afternoon game. It was like 11 o'clock.
There's no way
No
that it
chance.
got 100 decibels.
No chance.
That was the game that Rodrigo missed the
That
kick.
was the game where South Carolina won. It's like a 30-point underdog.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
No chance
The
that game was
decibels
loud.
got it to like.
He's lying. He's lying. Clemson 2010 says JT Jakovic barely paid for any drinks and got free food both at the bars and the tailgates. Highly recommend going. I went to Clemson in 19 as well. It's fine. It doesn't blow you away.
Their $2 bills confuse me.
Hmm?
Clemson fans, they like carrying around the $2 bills. They came for their game and they tipped me all in $2 bills. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Why'd they tip you?
Riverside Lax
Working
says
restaurant.
Florida at South Carolina in 2019. That was a ton of fun. Also, when FSU went to Virginia in 2019. Wait a minute.
Virginia?
Hold on. Is this a Florida fan or you can't pick two. You can't pick Florida at South Carolina and tell me you're a Gators fan and then say Florida State at Virginia. What was? I don't know. Fake Derek Dietrich says 2018 Ohio State lost to Purdue. Would have thought Purdue won the Super Bowl. Sad day as a Buckeye fan. I hate when people say,
Yeah.
"Oh, you thought you won the Super Bowl." No,
Yeah.
we just beat you. Shut up.
And that was
We
last
back
night,
however,
too.
if we
When
won,
the
we could-
Islanders beat the Bruins last night, all the Rangers fans were like, did the Stanley Cup happen?
No, they won a game.
They won a
very
game. Yeah,
important
like let them have their fun.
Jack Garvey says Death Valley night game. Something about LSU's jerseys pop under the lights in the packed house. A&M fan says 2019 Clemson. Patrick Beck says any Ohio State team up north game. See, I hate that answer too. Las Vegas, Nashville, Jacksonville, Auburn, and Annapolis. UConn, no lines at Chick-fil-A, says not Kyle. You guys got a Chick-fil-A
I think
there?
it's Jack's burner.
It's not mine. There may be a Chick-fil-A. No, there's probably a Chick-fil-A near the stadium in East Hartford, but I don't think there's a Chick-fil-A inside it. The rent. Chuck, yeah. That's also what RG3 said.
4.
No, that's we're way
UConn!
past. I don't know why.
Yo, he said UConn.
I don't know why your count's so low.
No, 3.
I'm not worried about her.
We haven't gotten 3.
Go
But
down.
you
We've gotten
elaborated
3
it. You
UConn.
elaborated it.
Go down.
We got 3 UConn.
South
That's
Carolina, Sandstorm, Elite Tailgating, Williams-Brice Stadium is fire. Okay.
UConn dead emoji. That meant he died.
My
after he
name
went to
is
UConn.
Brandon Walker. That's Jack. That is Katie. Casey will be back in 2 weeks, so we'll have one more show together next week. Please tell us we did a good job. Thank you, and that is Unnecessary Roughness.